Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome to my latest ES2 Let's Play. This time round, I'm going to be playing as the Vaulters. The Vaulters are a returning empire to the Endless Universe, and they've recently joined ES2 via an expansion, which is actually out on the 25th of January. Amplitude have been kind enough to provide me with a preview copy, and I was able to actually stream the first part of this Let's Play earlier today. And what I decided to do is actually add a bit of an intro to that stream upload, which you're actually watching now. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention in this intro. Basically, there was one or two minor issues with audio when I was alt-tabbing out to check chat. Currently I only have one monitor, but that should be fixed in a future stream. So yeah. But basically, I'm going to have to re-edit in the intro because, yeah, there was no audio on it for people who were watching the stream earlier. So I'm about to do that now when I start editing after recording this intro. The other thing I should mention as well, if you want to catch future streams on the channel, my streaming schedule's a bit all over the place, so I'm not exactly sure when I'm streaming next. But over the next week or two, I'll be completing this game as a complete Let's Play, basically, as the Vaulters. And during this Let's Play, I'll be discussing all about the Vaulters and the expansion and the recent updates as well. There's been a couple of updates, and in fact a community update also. So there's a lot of content to talk about since I last covered Endless Space 2 on a channel. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that. There's certainly a lot to talk about. And the recent bits of the game I've been playing recently, I've been really enjoying the game once again. So yeah, it'd be great if you can check out any of the streams, but don't worry if you miss any of them, because I'll be uploading all of the streams to YouTube anyway. Right, so at this point, I should get to the stream parts that I basically recorded earlier. So we can see the version of the game down here. Now we've now got this new icon. Endless Space 2 Vaulters, the first expansion, brings back one of the most popular factions of the Endless Universe, the Vaulters. Following the events that occurred in Endless Legend, this stubborn and resilient people have left the dying planet of Auriga, seeking a new home to build their future. So the Vaulters were in Endless Legend. They were also, I think, expansion in Endless Space 1. Although I did cover Endless Space 1 on the channel, and in fact it was the first game I ever covered. Yeah, I never got round to getting the Vaulters, sadly. Yeah, if we check them out in more detail here...
The secrets of the stars will be ours.
Vaulters, an ancient faction, the Vaulters suffered continual setbacks in trying to establish a permanent home for themselves. Not so much restless wanderers as adaptable pragmatists, their centuries of travel and tinkering have made them skilled at both science and warfare. Defense remains their preferred military strategy, and their grim tenacity makes them effective defenders. They have a tradition of appointing female leaders, and their history of escaping and surviving to fight another day continually reaffirms it. The Vaulters left the planet of Auriga when potentially cataclysmic geo-atmospheric problems were detected. Having left their homes, gods, and many of their people behind, the dream of regaining these things has gained an almost mythical status. Now, like every single faction found within the game, they have their own unique playstyle, and it's a bit more unique than some of the others. Well, if we look at metafold in here, every colony can build a portal that permits instantaneous travel to any other gate in the Empire. Ships will automatically use gates to plot the most efficient routes between any two systems. So I believe they had this in maybe in Endless Legend, I think even the Endless Space 1 game as well, I'm not sure about that. The Vaulters themselves, they're very focused on science and also do extra damage to attackers in ground battle. And I'll cover the rest of this shortly. Let's go back to the main menu. I better quickly check chat to see what's going on. Someone mentioned it froze, use a phone. Yeah, that's an idea, probably should do. Right, let's get back to cleanse. Okay, So these are the options I'm planning on using then for this game. I may well turn this into a complete let's play via streaming. Today I'm hoping to stream for a couple of hours. My streaming schedule is all over the place and my recording schedule, so it could be less than that. It's probably unlikely to be more than that today, but sometimes it's more than I think. When I was streaming recently, Civilization 6. So yeah, these are the settings I'm going to use. All of this bit is default in behind the scenes, apart from I've made the minor Civilization difficulty a bit harder. There was a new galaxy shape added within one of the well, I think there was like a community thing that Amplitude did, and one of the rewards for that was a new galaxy shape. There's some other rewards as well, and I think that's recently been released with the new patch with the Vaulters. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I believe that's the case. So I'm going to be playing on a huge map, which is actually larger than I've ever played for one of these Let's Plays. I've done lots and lots of content for Inner Space 2 before. I think I've probably covered the game more on YouTube than any other channel actually, but I haven't done so for quite a while, since the last couple of updates have come out. Normally I think it's 10 competitors, but I'm just going to have 8 of the races and the Vaulters. With this shape, I think it's well suited to 9 factions on the map, the way it works for the Spiral 6. So yeah, that is the settings I'm going to use, and I'm about to get started. I'll quickly check chat. If you have any comments, questions, anything you want me to discuss, please let me know. I should mention as well the chat which is showing up on the screen that you can see. I can't see it because I don't have a second monitor at the moment, but I'm checking chat every so often. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get started. I'm going to turn off the mic while the intro video plays though, so I don't interrupt it.
Is this the end of our voyage? We had such hopes at the beginning, though we left in sorrow and desperation. But while they slept through the explosion, I have stayed awake for centuries, doing what I could to keep them alive. To save Zolia, first of the bloodline. But our power, my power, is fading. I can do nothing more for my people, the Vaulters.
So yeah, I've mentioned their affinity metafolding, and let's take a look at their traits then. So the Sisters of Mercy return as a minor faction and also as a populace that you start with as the Vaulters. So they are religious focused, extra approval, extra damage done to attack on ground battle. I'll show them off more coming up. The Vaulters are involuntary nomads, so basically they start the game with a super colonizer ship on a special node lodestone of the 9, which we actually saw in the intro video if not heard too well. The planets are settled as a colony instead of an outpost, so no outpost for the Vaulters, you just straight get a colony. And they also get temporary effects based on a golden age, which the duration changes depending on when you colonize last. The problem with the Vaulters is you can't colonize very quickly, so this is a bonus that you get to make up for that fact basically. So yeah, extra approval, extra fitzy, extra manpower, and they get converted less quickly. They have material expertise, so they can use strategic resources for system development upgrades, and they are the only faction that can do that in addition to normal luxuries. They are Corsairs, so they have the Privateer's action, and it's improved and is unlocked from the start. Ships can be disguised as pirate ships. This, I think, is a new feature within the Vaulters expansion. Not 100% sure, but they get it straight from the beginning, unlike the other factions, which I believe have to research probably Era 3 tech, military. I'm not 100% sure about that. They have Black Thumb 2, which is a negative trait, it's minus 15% to food on the systems, and they also have a core worlds bonus. They get an extra approval bonus as long as they are under the colonization threshold, and like just about everyone, they start with a couple of technologies. I've left the expertise thing on basically. Yeah, I muted the mic. I did actually mention it. Okay, so I guess you didn't hear that. Right, I didn't want to interfere with the video basically. So I've left the expert tutorial on. I'm going to turn it off though after we've covered the Vaulter stuff, because I'm sure many of you will be aware of stuff within Nanospace 2 already. If not, I can tell you about it if you ask me in chat. So the Vaulters start off at a special node, the Rejuvenation Field. They have a super colonizer ship, the Aurigan, which is able to create its colony directly without first developing an outpost. Your first task is to find a system for your initial colony. The faster the better. So in this instance, on this Spiral 6, we start in the Virgo constellation, and this is a new, not sure which update added this, but you now have extra constellation feature where you can have bonus resources, 15% if you control the constellation. I don't believe this is from the expansion, but yeah, I would need to control 3 systems to get that. This happens to be, well, let's go on to that one first. Notice that the Senate and Technology screens are locked in addition to the Quest and Diplomatic screens. And like all other factions, you don't start with a colony. Until you have one, you cannot produce science and dust, build improvements, etc. Your population is much more focused on survival than on politics. Find a good star system, explore the Aurigan via the star lanes. Okay, so this is the Aurigan, which is the special ship within the intro video, and which all the Vaulters are escaping Auriga on. So we have to find a system to colonize basically, sooner the better. And this is the it's a bit noisy. The rejuvenation field found within the intro video. So basically it's full of dust, and I think it repowered the ship basically. Now, because you can't research technologies, you're basically limited by where you can colonize straight away. For instance, I can't come down to the Baton system and colonize that gas giant because I just don't have the technology for it. Even colonize those steps, which is an early colonization tech. So it's looking as if I'm probably going to have to go up to Gatria to yeah, basically colonize that. Right, hopefully it's not, the video's not stopping for people. Just check chat then. You'll have to let me know in chat if anyone else is affected by it. So yeah, let's get colonizing then, shall we? So what I could do with the Aurigan, it's quite fast, starts with 11 movement. I could go looking around the constellation, looking for colonizable planets. There is some benefit for doing that. The Golden Age would extend by 2.4 turns every turn I look around basically. So I could go to Gatria straight away. It looks as if there's no warplane coming off there, but there is a couple up there. Coming down here would be a bit extreme, I think. But let's go to Gatcha, and hopefully the radius of our sensors will reveal something else that I might want to go to. So the Argosy can colonize the system. Each colonization will trigger a golden age, during which more resources are produced and heroes gain experience more quickly. Note, the Vaulters will suffer higher penalties if they colonize too many systems. After colonizing this planet, the Argosy will need 2 turns to refuel and reload. I'm not sure if that's accurate, it might be a bit more. Even if it has been damaged, I think it might be 4, and repaired, you may you may still have to pay a cost to colonize if the ship is not ready. 10 additional cooldown, but this duration also depends on the existing colony's amount. So yeah, basically you can colonize literally every turn with the Argosy, but it will cost you an absolute fortune. It costs extra dust and titanium and hyperium if you want to colonize straight away, but that goes down over the preceding 10 turns. Oh, and you do have to repair for 2 to 4 turns as well, so it's not potentially quite every turn that you can colonize. Okay, so yeah, so Gatcha looks like it could be a good place to colonize, and actually is the only place I can colonize as it turns out so far. But I do have 7 movement, so I could come up here in theory to look a bit more. What I would really like to find is actually an endless world that has huge bonuses at this stage, but you can't get everything. It would certainly be a risk to go out further. I don't know what you think I should do in chat, but I'm just not going to take the risk of exploring further. So I'm going to colonize Gatcha now. So let's colonize. So we have 2 options. We have a Terran world and a Boreal world, and remember that we get the colony straight away. It doesn't become an outpost. So that's 8, 3, 4, 4. Couple of anomalies we can scout later on, and that's 8037. So that does start of Eden Incense. So which one should I go for? Well, that's got more production, definitely, and that's something to certainly consider. There's a couple of approval bonuses. I don't think it really matters, honestly, because I can probably colonize that pretty quickly. So I'm going to colonize Gatria 3 first of all. I would miss out on Eden Incense. Science would be nice. Yeah, but the production might be nicer. Okay, we'll go for Gatria 3. And we get a colonization video. The colonization videos don't seem to be working, actually, from the bit I've played so far, apart from the very first one, but we'll see if that's the case later on. So we got update on the Vaulters. So congratulations, you have created your first colony. Note this building portal. This is a portal that lets your fleets teleport between your systems. If you build another portal in another colony, your fleets will be able to teleport instantly from one to the other. Vaulters don't need to have their systems close to each other for defense. They are always nearby if you have built portals. So this is a huge tactical advantage. Basically they can move around the map very quickly, and it's something which allows them to move to even more places, which I'll be talking about a bit later on. Maybe be able to guess it. So yeah, basically, yeah, that costs a bit of resources. It's not that expensive at all, really. Even gives it a bit of extra research. Maintenance is a bit much, arguably. So I definitely want to colonize that other planet pretty quickly, and we also have that research I want to get. Now sadly I colonized straight away, so I've only got 7 turns in the Golden Age, so I really want to make use out of this yeah, pretty damn quickly. I think I might put that ahead of the research, actually. Yeah, they're gonna run out pretty soon, which is a pain. Right, let's close that for a second. Now, when you actually colonize, you still retain onto the Argosy, which is probably docked up. And you also get a scout straight away, like everyone usually starts with. So I'm going to be using that shortly. And I'll just check chat. Any questions, chat? Any? Yeah, let me know. Right, so next, let's see what these messages are. So, new luxury resource found, deciduous trees, which is extra money. Okay. Transvine, and also Eden incense. Right. And that was the rejuvenation field, which happens to have various effects. There's extra health regeneration on ships in orbit or in Hannah, and also ship repair per phase during battle on ships when you happen to be within that system. Okay, so it could be useful coming up in future still. And we get a nice view of our new hero. So basically this is Petrov Yutka. Let's check out hero management. This is a Vaulter hero. That mentions a bit about hero management. So she happens to be a Vaulter and an Overseer, which the Overseers are mainly focused on planetary management. Although they do have some fleet stuff in here somewhere. Not too much actually. But yeah, this Vaulter hero, she starts with 2 skills like all heroes do, and I like that they've added this over here now. This didn't always used to be the case. So she gets 5% shield capacity on fleet. Nice small bonus, nothing special arguably. An extra 10 production per anomalies on colonized planet on system. So if we have a lot of anomalies on our system, that could be great for her. Now currently she doesn't have any skill points, so she's not an awful lot of use, frankly. So I have a choice here. Do I stick her on planet straight away or on this ship? And I'm actually going to stick her on there. I want to make use of, well, I can give her probes on her ship, and that can get her extra experience early on. It's a pretty decent strategy. And at the moment she wouldn't help out the planet all that much anyway. So I'm going to stick her on here. Now let's get exploring a bit. Let's get some of these anomalies. Hopefully that's not too loud. So let's get those. Okay, so we found Transvine and more Eden incense. Okay, let's cancel that. Yeah, so I want to upgrade her ship, so we've got more probes. I also want to boost her movement so she's as fast as that ship, the firing, which if I double click you can see in detail here. Okay, so let's come in here. Actually going to use an obsolete engine just to cut down on movement. I don't intend to have her as a fleet commander long term, because I think the Vaulters tend to be better for system management. I didn't really show her skills then for the Vaulters, did I? Okay, let's apply that. So that's 80 cost. Let's quickly come back in here. So they get an extra bit of titanium and Hyperium. It's a tiny amount, but that can be very useful. Extra movement on fleet. Extra vision on fleet. That's sizable percentage science boost. Extra defense on system. A reduction against projectiles if she stays within a fleet. And the last one is a system bonus, and that's also a Senate bonus. So that's extra science and extra science per strategic deposit on system. So yeah, I think they're probably better overall on system, the Vaulters. Okay, so I've got 4 probes. Now it's a question of which direction do I want to go up towards. That's the center of the map. With the settings I've used, I'm expecting probably 2 to 3. I think there are 4 or 5 constellations that'll be on the map. And I'm expecting 2 to 3 empires on each constellation, so we're going to have a bit of a fight coming up basically to secure our constellation, no doubt. I've only got 3 movement left, so I'm going to lob out all the probes, I think, this turn. Okay, now figure out where to move after that. Okay, so let's I'll quickly check what chat's saying. Right, okay. Looks good. Right, back to the game. So, research. Probably next important thing to select. So that's normal, basic tutorial stuff. So the Vaulters start with the xenobiology tech, so the science building tech, which is brilliant tech, and Tundra colonization ability. Also, they can colonize Mediterranean world straight away, and they also have that little boost there. So Titanium and Hyperium, I would say, with the Vaulters are probably even more important than normal for most factions, and they're very important normally. So I'm going to go for that first, pick up the factory. There's a decent chance I'll be picking that up next, so I'll stick that in the list. And I want to be finding minor races pretty soon, and trying to interact with them in various ways. I think the pirates, which play a big part in this expansion, they don't turn up for at least 10 turns, I think. Right, so let's come out of there briefly. If we quickly have a look on our homeworld again. Right, looks like I'm getting a bonus to my approval. That's going to be useful. So we're ecstatic already. Let's go into the laws. Yeah, if you have any questions, anything you want me to show, chat, let me know. So let's Senate screen details. Let's take a look at the Sisters of Mercy in a bit more detail then. So, and the Vaulters. So these are the progression paths later on. Oh, that's strange. The bonuses there aren't showing up. Why is that? Normally they do. Well, I'll have to show those later then. So, yeah, I may want to actually increase their... well, the fact we know about Decidius as well, because they actually require it to gain a bonus, and I can talk more about that later if we have to get any of those. Let's go into the law screen. So the fact that I had 20 approval could mean that I could use one of these, which now have a detrimental effect I didn't always used to. It's probably a decent change though. The fact that we're scientist faction and actually have a bit of militarism as well means I can use these two laws, but I don't exactly have much influence, so it may not be the best idea. I'm not sure if system improvement accounts colonizing another planet. It may or may not do, which I am doing at the moment. I think I could do that at the moment without losing... Should I do that? Well, let's try that this turn. So I think it was getting done in 3 turns. That hasn't actually changed. So I wish I did the science, to be honest. But yeah, that's picked. Anything else I need to do here? I can discuss that later. Okay, let's end the turn finally, shall we? I've used a movement there. Okay. Right, let's quickly have a look at chat. Right. Okay, so turn 2, probes moved on a bit. Looks like I found a really nice system with resources here. Sadly, the starting system didn't start with Titanium or Hyperium, which is really bad with the Vaulters, because you really need it a lot. But I'm going to probably be colonizing there next, I imagine. Looks like there's another thing, routes coming up here. Let's get these moving then. I could upgrade the ferrying. I've got a bit to do that with. I don't think there's... Well, actually, I could take off the armor. How much? 53? Oh, that'll be alright. Okay, I should have enough. Okay, second thoughts. Yeah, I will upgrade that. Okay. Pro will be alright. Right, I think if you're wondering about what modules it has, those are the module types. So 2/4 support, 1 shield, 2 weapons. It's a pretty good ship actually, the Vaulters scouting ship, and of course can't have colony ships, it's just the Argosy. So I think I'll come over to there now. It's going to take a couple of turns. Right, let's change this then, since I don't think it was really affecting things. I should be able to use that without any issues to approval. Yeah, you really want to keep this at 85% or more pretty much all the time to get the extra 30% bonuses. So, yeah. You can see here the Argosy is going to take a little while. It's repairing. It said 2 turns in the tutorial. It's actually 4 turns, I think, like I mentioned. Let's end the turn. Okay, quickly check chat. Yeah, the game is out tomorrow. I'm actually using Amplitudes gave me the Steam key basically, so I've got an early preview version of it. I'm not sure if yeah, well, I guess it's not working until tomorrow. The Vaulters aren't appearing. So right, so I just picked up a new tech, Xeno Industrial Infrastructure and Titanium. Okay, so black hole discovered, 50 science and some extra details. Right, that happens to be down there. So I think, yeah, I'll go for the Hyperion tech next, I guess. There's a deed I could get if I create enough wealth, and it gives extra, well, it gives Jadnix, which is a very good resource. Let's move on. Okay. Speaking of resources, at some point there's been a change. I'm not sure if it was the patch that comes with the expansion, but yeah, they've gone to a flat amount on the first level ones again. So that's 30 influence, and I think before it was like a couple of extra influence per pop or something like that. So they've slightly changed those. And you can see here the Vaulter special ability where they can use strategic resources for extra bonuses as well. These are really good, but the problem is if you're using your strategic resources for these bonuses on your worlds, then you're not going to have enough for your ships potentially. So you've got to keep that in mind. But I'll be talking much more about all of that later on. Right, let's actually scout the Arcturus system now, which looks really good. I think I'll be colonizing here next, and unless I find something better. So let's find what's here. I found a basic plasmoid shielding, which could definitely be useful. An extra titanium. Okay, there's huge amounts of titanium here, which actually I was hoping would be the case, because I think that may be my first pick for system development, especially now since we've got a lot of it. Using the hero on the ship has means she's leveled up already, but I want her as a system governor long term, so I won't skill her up yet. I'm actually out of movement, and I've got a probe left, so I'm going to lob a probe up towards the Galactic Center. Hope to find a new constellation. I'll probably be coming up there next turn. Okay, so let's end the turn, and I'll quickly check chat. So, right. The deeds. Be the first to produce 100 dusts. An unknown empire's already done that. I specifically picked certain colors for certain empires in the options earlier, so I know who that is. That's the Cravers. Right. So 6 movement. Yeah, this constellation looks pretty big with the settings I've used, so there's a lot down here. With the Vaulters, since you colonize so slowly in effect, because you only have one colony ship and it takes a while, it's really in your interest actually to acquire minor races and also just conquer people outright. So that could be my plan coming up basically. So let's come up here. There has been changes in recent updates to how the colonized star systems work. I can only have 8 before I start running into approval issues. That's something I'll be discussing much more in the future. So the colonized Boreal has finished, and now I've moved on to that new science one. I actually meant to stick that in the list prior to it. It's probably more important at this stage to get production up. Golden Age, sadly, only lasts for 4 more turns. Actually, colonizing that second world though is certainly going to help, especially when I get those in, because they have per planet bonuses. So which is the best world? I probably want the production one still, so I'm going to move that pop over to there. And also, I'm going to change my lore at this point. So let's abolish that. And let's stick back in Dirty Hands Act. So this is minus 20% system improvement cost reduction on systems. Going to cost me once I got enough at this stage though, based on population. So let's lower that by a turn. Okay, let's end the turn. Yeah, there's lots of little things I need to remember to do. Reminding to mention certain things. So, remembering. Interplanetary Transport Network. The affinity for, do you mean the... I'll just check chat then. Someone mentioned about affinity for the Vaulters. Right, we got that tech. Do you mean the, like, scientist or ecologist or whatever, or is it something else? The affinity itself is metafolding, which is to do with portals. I think that's their main ability, if you mean that. 5 turns in, we get the main quest, and I think this is the case for everyone. So solo quest started, chapter 1, A New World part 1. I guess I'll read this. You'll have to let me know if you want me to read the future ones or just continue playing the game. We left Auriga millennia ago, but to us it feels like yesterday. Slumbering in our pods aboard the Argosy, time was only marked by cold, fleeting dreams, drawn out over centuries. Upon awakening, I could still remember a million details of the day of our departure. The biting winter wind, the smell of the ash fires along the route to the vessel, the bone-shaking rumble of the engines as we speared into the icy depths of space, and Auriga receded to nothing. Most of all, the guilt, black and heavy in the pit of my stomach, for the kin we left behind. I might have been overwhelmed by these memories had it not been for the crisis that greeted my waking. Our carefully restored craft, the life-saving Argosy, had suffered a grievous wound. Some cataclysmic explosion had knocked us off course, playing havoc with our systems. Opbot, brave, loyal Opbot, did everything it could to avert catastrophe and get us back on course. But even its heroic efforts weren't enough, for eventually the power failed and we were left adrift. It is nothing less than a miracle that we awoke, circling that endless ruin adrift in space. So this is basically the intro video that we saw, the events during it. Our priority was settling a world and surviving. Even if this planet is not a home, it will at least be a refuge. And so here we are, possibly safe, and yet immediately plunged into another crisis. For no sooner had we planted the Vaulter flag into this alien soil than we lost our talisman, the ancient machine who saved so many of us, guiding us through the long night. Opbot has disappeared. We scoured the local caverns and crevices, the cliffs and bogs, the treetops, scanning the wilderness. But the truth is even stranger. As we skim, I hear news from the base. Even the rushing wind and the radio crackle unable to disguise the words. One of the interstellar shuttles is missing, the voice says. Opbot must have left the system. Okay, so we've got 2 options here for the Vaulters. The first one is Sentinels, and to do this it mentions the disappearance of Opbot is a worry, but things must be dealt with in turn. We must first assure our own survival before we can seek Opbot and our lost kin. So to do this we have to build 4 defensive star system improvements or wonders, and the reward is 75 titanium. The scientific option would be to build 4 scientific star system improvements or wonders. The reward would be 100 blue cat mole, which is a very nice research based resource luxury. And that mentions my kin is so used to scientific supremacy, more backward than the other species in the galaxy. We must grow in leaps and bounds in our scientific knowledge, or you will fade and wither to become inbred cripples in the galactic backwaters. Now, I've played a bit with the Vaulters already, so I'm probably going to be picking similar choices to what I have done before, and I've actually already completed the quest previously, so I know a lot of it. Just checking the chat. Thank you, Joel. And right, I'll quickly show that in a second, Daniel. Okay, so yeah, the pick I'm going to go for here. The defensive star system improvements actually includes the shipyard, I believe, which makes it easier. Don't have to just build bunkers. Titanium is going to be more important to me, I think, so I want that as a reward, and the reward is the main reason why I'm going to pick this. I think the next part of the quest is actually the same no matter which one you go for, which I think is actually the case for pretty much all of the Vaulters quest, if not all of it actually, which isn't the case of all the quest. I'm not 100% sure on that though. I haven't done every option, but have completed the quest at this stage. So that's the option I'm going to be picking. I found a minor species, and these are one of the ones that were added within one of the recent updates. So there, if we were to assimilate them, they have plus 40 dust per strategic deposit on system, and they happen to reside in that system down here. Let's make first contact. Right, as I previously mentioned with the Vaulters, I definitely am inclined to try and pick up a lot of minor races since we can't colonize very quickly. Let's quickly show the... Oh, Auriga is now ready, so I can go and colonize. Excellent. Yeah, let's quickly show... Yeah, the Vaulters' main ability is meta-folding. So it's to do with portals and their colony ship and their golden ages. That's kind of their main ability. And yeah, they have... Well, there's the golden age bit. And yeah, they have some smaller bonuses as well. Okay, let's get back to things then. So let's have a look at the Auriga. It said it was ready to colonize, but that's how expensive the next colony would be. Now if I wait 10 turns, it's actually free, and there is a reason to wait, because the golden age actually is increased. So probably the optimum amount of time would be to colonize when it's hit the 15 cap. But whether or not I have the resources at that point to colonize is, yeah, we'll see basically. I wouldn't put massive amounts of money on it. I actually want to colonize there next, so I'm going to bring this up to do some exploration since it has good radius sight on it. I've never lost the Auriga. I've never even had it being engaged in combat, so I hope, yeah, in a bit I've played so far, I've played about 70 turns in one game and about 40 turns in another game with the Vaulters so far. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen in this Let's Play, but we'll see. If you lose it, presumably I could repair or make a new one, but you can only have one at one time. Yeah, there's no extra Auriga in here. Right, let's get movement done then. Right, I got a feeling then I'm going to bring those back to do those with them, because that will get approval quicker. I don't have the tack there yet, so when I do, I'm going to improve relations with them. Right, let's end the turn. Okay, and I'll quickly check chat. Yeah, the Ambler, well, pretty much no matter which minor races turn up, I'm going to want them, but that, yeah, did seem a very nice bonus. Star's my destination. Right, as mentioning, I need a certain tech to be able to get across to that system, and it looks like I found another constellation, a Huron constellation. No sign of any empires over there yet, but that looks like another minor species, so that's yeah, something I want to find out about certainly. How many probes do I have left on here then? 5 or 6? I'm gonna keep on moving the Auriga. It's gonna be a little while yet before I can colonize, so let's bring that up to here. I think pirates turn up around turn 10 or 11, something like that, so I should be safe for the time being. In theory I could move past them anyway. Right, I found another system, the IAS system. Not very big, but it has eaten incense. And yeah, let's keep on moving over there. Right, let's send a probe Oh, I found an endless world. Okay, that could be a great place to colonize very early on. A hospitable if dry planet, rich in natural resources, Bilgeli served as a base for the endless research stations that were built in its orbit. One of them, in particular, Letem has a fairly legitimate claim as being the first place in endless history where the science of virtualization was perfected. For better or for worse, this fact has given it an important role in the mythos of the endless civilization. Sadly, it's a one-planet system. That's a real shame. If that had a lot of planets here, I would be colonizing that really quickly, especially if it had Hyperium and Titanium there. You can see on the stats of the planet, they're really, really good. Even gives influence, which normally planets don't give a lot of. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame it's on its own. Right, let's get some probes sent out. I'll send one out over there. And that one should get to that miner actually, so how much movement I got there? 3. Right, there goes the... Well, I might bring it up there. There's actually a ship there, which isn't a good sign. Who's that of? Intruder ship. I hope that isn't Cravers nearby, and that's the quest. Cravers are probably the opponent I would least like to have nearby. It's certainly possible to happen, and it has happened in various Let's Plays I've done before. Let's get that while we're here. Right, Transvine. Transvine got nerfed a lot. I think it's now only 15 approval, where once it was approval per populace. So it's not a great resource. Although on the it does give planetary bonuses, 3 per pop, so it's kind of nice to have it still. Let's do what? Yeah, I think I want to come back down here, scout those curiosities, and there's a lot to come scout down here anyway, so let's come back down this direction. Do I send any more probes out? Yeah, you know what, I will. I've only got 1 movement, so I might as well. Let's send one up there and one up there. Then we'll come back down there. Right, population grew, Vaulters. And let's... After that, what? Galactic commodities, I think I'll go for next. Yeah. And 10. I do have to remember my main quest though. Right, if you have any comments or questions in chat, any ways you think I should progress the game, please let me know. So, research. You have to let me know if you're subscribers to the channel or you've just found the channel. And if you did just find a channel, how you went about finding it. Was it from YouTube Gaming, for example? So, yeah, this is the tech I just picked up. And that now allows me to talk with the minor civilizations and the Pirate League. And I believe that is a new thing within the Vaulters expansion, which you couldn't do previously and can't do without it. So let's close that, and that's gonna be playing a big part with the Vaulters as well, which I'll be able to show coming up hopefully. Okay, I shouldn't have stopped there. Do I move on? 5. How many turns before colonizing? 8. How many turns to get there? 4. I could move on a bit more. Okay, why not? Let's risk it.